Hey everyone, welcome back. Today, I've got a story that's all about never giving up, bouncing back, and finding success when you least expect it. Sit back, relax, and enjoy. In the winter of 2011, I faced the hardest time of my life. I was 17, living in my old 1998 Honda Civic, the coldest winter I've ever felt. I learned how to survive in that car, which parking lots were safe at night, how to clean up in gas station bathrooms, and where I could use free Wi-Fi to apply for jobs. I had $143, a backpack with a few clothes, and my laptop, my only possession after my dad kicked me out.
Why?
Because I wouldn't give up my dream of starting a tech company and join his construction business. "You think you're too good for real work?" he yelled. "You want to waste your life with computers? Then get out." My mom cried in the corner, and my younger sister, Madeline, was too scared to say anything. My older brother, Marcus, seemed happy about it, smirking while Dad threw my stuff outside. "Get out," Dad said, his words still echoing in my mind. "Come back when you're ready to grow up." That first night in my car, parked behind a Walmart, I promised myself something. I would build something so big that they'd have to admit they were wrong about me. During the day, I went to coffee shops and libraries to use their Wi-Fi. I taught myself coding through YouTube videos, online courses, and forums, learning as much as I could. At night, I worked on my laptop until the battery ran out. I got a job as a dishwasher at a diner, working long hours for little pay. The owner, Miss Chun, let me park my car behind the diner, where it felt safer than the Walmart lot. She sometimes gave me leftover food, saying she was going to throw it out anyway. "You're a smart kid," she'd say, watching me code on my breaks. "Don't let this be your whole story." After 3 months of living in my car, I finally got a break. A small tech company needed a website and I applied. They hired me and paid me $500. It felt like a fortune. I rented a tiny room in a shared house. It wasn't much, but it had a bed, a shower, and most importantly, reliable internet. I kept working at the diner during the day, but at night, I worked on building my skills and finding new clients. Soon, I was making more money from freelancing than from washing dishes. One morning, Miss Chin found me asleep at my laptop before my shift. Instead of being mad, she sat down across from me. "Tell me what you're working on," she said. I told her about my idea for a software platform to help small restaurants manage online orders and deliveries, like the problems I'd seen her face at the diner. "How much would you charge for that?" she asked. "For you?"
Free.
"You've helped me so much," I said. She shook her head.
No.
"If it's worth making, it's worth paying for. I'll be your first real customer." That moment changed everything. Ms. Chin didn't just become my first client. She introduced me to other restaurant owners, gave me a place to work after hours, and most importantly, believed in me when no one else did. I named my company Serve Smarter and started building it up while still working full-time at the diner. Ms. Chun helped me test new features for my software at her restaurant, giving me honest feedback. Word spread through the local restaurant scene, and business owners appreciated that I understood their problems. By the time I turned 18, 20 restaurants were using my software. I quit my dishwashing job on my 19th birthday. The same day, I signed my first big client, a regional restaurant chain with 50 locations. After work, Miss Chin brought out a cake with "Congratulations, CEO" written on it. "I'm not really a CEO," I said, laughing. "I'm just a programmer who got lucky." She looked at me seriously. "You lived in your car, taught yourself coding, and built something valuable while working for minimum wage. That's not luck. That's determination." I thought about my family during that small celebration. They had no idea that their irresponsible son was now running a growing tech company. Through my younger sister, Madeline, who secretly stayed in touch, I knew that Dad's construction business was struggling. Marcus, who had joined the family business, was better at spending money than making it. The next few years were full of growth and challenges. Serve Smarter grew from restaurant software to full business management tools. We opened our first real office, hired employees, and raised venture capital. Every success felt like a step away from that cold car and closer to proving my worth. But I never forgot the lessons I learned during my months of homelessness: to be resourceful, stay hungry, and use rejection as motivation. Then last week, 5 years after being kicked out of my home, I got an email that made my heart stop. It was a job application for Marcus. Then another one for my father. Their construction company had finally failed, and they were looking for new jobs. They had no idea they were applying to work for their homeless relatives' company. The next day, I would be conducting their interviews. The scared 17-year-old, who once slept in his car, had become a CEO worth paying attention to. It was time for my family to realize who they had thrown away. I adjusted my tie and looked out the window of my corner office, watching the sun shine on nearby skyscrapers. In 5 years, I'd gone from being homeless to being the CEO of a company valued at over $100 million. Today, that journey would come full circle. "Sir," my assistant, David, called out from the doorway. "Your 9 o'clock interview is here. Mr. Marcus Turner." I smiled, remembering how Marcus had smirked when I was thrown out. "Give me 5 minutes, then send him in." I sat behind my desk, turned my chair to face the window, and waited. When the door opened, I heard Marcus hesitate in the doorway. "Please take a seat," I said, not turning around. "Thank you for meeting with me," Marcus said, his voice still carrying that arrogant tone I remembered. "I have to say, Serve Smarter's growth has been impressive. My background in construction management could really help with your expansion plans." I slowly turned my chair around. The look on his face when he saw me was priceless. Confusion, shock, and disbelief. "Daniel," he whispered.
What? How?
"That's Mr. Turner to you," I said calmly. "Or CEO Turner, if you prefer. Now, about your application." Marcus's face went red. "This is some kind of joke. You're the CEO? The homeless kid who is too good for real work." I pulled up his resume on my tablet. Interesting career history. 10 years at Turner Construction, rising from site manager to VP of operations. But according to our background check, the company suffered major losses under your leadership. Care to explain? He shifted nervously. The market changed. Technology disrupted everything. Technology? I raised an eyebrow. You mean like the kind I was wasting my time with? Before he could respond, my phone buzzed. "Sir, your 9:30 is here early, Mr. James Turner." Perfect timing. Send him in. The door opened, and my father walked in. He looked older, with more gray in his hair and deeper lines on his face. He stopped when he saw me, then glanced at Marcus in confusion. "What is this?" he demanded. "Please, Dad, have a seat," I said, pointing to the other chair. We were just discussing Marcus's role in Turner Construction's decline. Dad's face darkened with anger. "If this is some kind of revenge." "Revenge?" I laughed softly.
No.
"This is a job interview. You both applied to work at my company. I'm just doing my job and checking your qualifications." I stood up and walked to the window, looking out at the city I had built. "Tell me, Dad, what exactly did you say the night you threw me out? Something about joining the real world?" He stayed silent, but I could see his reflection in the window. The man who had thrown me away was now facing his son's success. "Well, this is the real world," I said. "The one where technology leads the way. Where innovation beats tradition. Where a homeless teenager can build a $100 million company from nothing." I turned back to face them. "You thought I was useless because I wouldn't follow your path. You threw me out because I dared to dream bigger than construction. Now here you are applying for jobs at my company." Marcus stood up angrily. "We don't need your charity." "Charity?" I interrupted.
No.
"What you need is a reality check. Your company is bankrupt and your reputation is ruined. You're both unemployed and running out of options," I said, leaning forward. "Let me make this interesting." I pressed a button on my desk, and the large screen on the wall lit up. It showed Serve Smarter's latest project, an interface with new, advanced features. "We're creating software to revolutionize the construction industry, project management, scheduling, and everything Turner Construction struggled with. We're looking for people with experience to consult on this development." Dad's eyes widened. Even though he was still angry, I could see the businessman in him recognizing the opportunity. "The positions pay well and come with full benefits," I continued. But there are conditions. What conditions? Dad asked, speaking for the first time. First, you start at entry level. No special treatment because of our past. Second, you report to Ms. Chun, our head of client relations. Marcus laughed. The diner owner? She works here? She's a partner in the company, I said sharply. She believed in me when my family threw me away. She earned her position, unlike some people. I sat back down, folding my hands on the desk. The final condition, you need to apologize. Not to me, but to Madeline. Both of them stiffened. Why Madeline? Dad asked. Because she's carried the guilt of that night for 5 years. She calls me crying sometimes, apologizing for not standing up to you. She's my executive assistant now, by the way. She started in the mailroom and worked her way up. Just then, the door opened. Madeline walked in, no longer the scared teenager they remembered, but a confident woman in a sharp suit. She came to stand beside my desk. Marcus stared at her, stunned. Maddie, he whispered. You've been here all along? She nodded. Someone had to be there for Daniel. Family doesn't throw family away. The room went quiet. I could see Dad's mind working, pride fighting with practicality. The choice is yours, I said. 2 good jobs with real futures, or your pride. You have until the end of the day to decide. And if we refuse? Marcus challenged. I smiled. Then you'll leave the same way you made me leave, with nothing but your pride to keep you warm. They left my office in silence, father and son united in shock. Madeline stayed behind, tears in her eyes. Do you think they'll take the jobs? She asked. They will, I said confidently. Dad's too practical not to. And Marcus? He'll follow Dad, like he always has. I was right. By the end of the day, both had accepted the jobs. They would start next week, learning the very technology they once dismissed. That evening, I drove to Ms. Chen's diner, the same place I had washed dishes and dreamed of something bigger. She still ran it, even while managing Serve's Smarter's client relations. She slid a piece of apple pie in front of me. So, she asked, how did it go? I told her about the interviews, Dad's silence, Marcus's anger, and their eventual acceptance. Are you going to forgive them? She asked quietly. I thought about the cold nights in my car, the years of struggle, the strength I had to build from nothing. Forgiveness isn't the point, I said. They needed to learn that the world is bigger than their narrow view of success. Maybe now they will. She nodded, understanding as always. From homeless to CEO, she said softly. You've come a long way. We've come a long way, I corrected. I wouldn't be here without you believing in me. Outside, the sun was setting over the city. Somewhere my father and brother were facing their new reality. Their homeless failure had become their CEO. Their thrown-away son had built an empire. Sometimes, the best revenge isn't making people suffer. It's showing them what they lost when they gave up on you. And sometimes, the greatest success isn't proving others wrong. It's proving yourself right. Next week, my family would start new jobs, learning to build something valuable in the world I created. The 17-year-old who slept in his car would finally rest easy, knowing his dream had become their salvation. That's the thing about success. It's the best answer to anyone who ever told you you weren't good enough. And sometimes, the people who throw you away end up working for the person they threw away.